Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, February 22nd. I'm Janine Samuels.
And I'm Denise Douglas. So glad you could join us this evening.
The Prince George's law enforcement community continues to mourn the loss of one of its own. Mujahid Ramzadin was killed while trying to help a neighbor who was caught up in a domestic dispute. Byron Scott has the latest.
We are in Palmer Park, and Corporal Mujahid Ramzadin's vehicle, his cruiser number 5851, is parked outside police headquarters here. You can see flowers on the vehicle and black bunting as a symbol of mourning. 51-year-old Prince George's County police officer Mujahid Ramzadin died yesterday while trying to help a neighbor in distress. And this, police say, is the man who shot him 5 times. 37-year-old Glenn Tyndall. Investigators say Tyndall grabbed Ramzadin's gun after the shooting and fled.
That he left Prince George's County, traveled into Charles County. Our peers in Charles County were completely aware of the situation. They brought this to our attention as they came back into Prince George's County, where we together intervened. And as I said before, the offender lost his life in a confrontation with 2 of my officers.
Police say Tyndall was with his estranged wife yesterday when they became involved in a domestic dispute. She went to Ramzadin's house and asked for help.
Somebody in the community needed him, knew he was a police officer, and sought him for help and assistance. And he instantly, without hesitation, assisted another community member and saved a life.
Police say there were warrants out for his arrest for assault. Neighbor and former police officer Earlene Harris said police were at the shooter's house last week.
We were awakened several times last week with the police, with battering rams, on the loudspeaker, asking him to, turn himself in, but to no avail.
Ramzadin was on the force 14 years and assigned to the department's harbor unit. In 2006, he was awarded the Medal of Honor for courage while engaging an armed suspect. He was an only child, a husband, and father of 4. Ramzadin was honored during prayers here last night at the Diyanet Center of America. He was remembered as a devout Muslim, and his funeral will be held here tomorrow. In Lanham, Byron Scott, CTV News.
Police tonight are identifying the officers involved in the fatal shooting of the suspect. They are Luke Allen, an 8-year veteran, and Channing Reed, a 6-year veteran.
Meantime, another shooting took place in the town of Edmonston this morning. The incident happened in the 4200 block of Kenilworth Avenue around 10:15. Police say the suspect became combative with an on-duty officer just outside this liquor store, refusing to comply with orders and physically striking him in the head and face. That's when the officer fired his weapon, shooting the suspect. Both were transported to a local hospital for treatment. No word yet on the condition of the suspect. The officer was treated and released. And we will never know if the 2 children of a Cheverly woman who confessed to killing them back in 2014 would be alive, but the state's attorney for Prince George's County, Angela Alsobrooks, is working to prevent a similar case. Sonia Spoon suffocated her young daughter and son. According to officials, she had threatened to do it before carrying it out. Now Alsobrooks is pushing for legislation that would change the process of how such threats are reported. She says the goal is to ensure that services are mobilized to protect children.
We didn't have the authority to go in, and there are privacy laws that have to be respected, and so this gives us the authority to go into a home and to check on the welfare of a child, to have it required as an automatic process, that we're not simply caring for the mother in this case or the parent in the case, but that we're also making sure that as a part of that process, there are automatic and mandatory things that must be done to ensure the safety of children.
This is the 4th year that Alsobrooks has championed this legislation. It successfully passed the House last year, but failed in the Senate.
The district has reached a $3 million settlement with the family of Terrence Sterling. He was the 31-year-old unarmed Prince George's man who was fatally shot by a D.C. police officer in September 2016. The settlement in the wrongful death suit comes 4 months after an internal review by the D.C. police. The department ruled the shooting unjustified, concluding that Officer Brian Traynor should not have pulled his gun and was not in danger when he fired at Sterling.
It's church versus state in the city of Laurel. The Redemption Community Church, which wants to use a downtown coffee shop for worship services, has filed a federal lawsuit alleging discrimination. The suit accuses the city of enacting changes to the zoning code that were made after the trustees bought the property and began holding services. The city has issued a cease and desist order. Government officials are not commenting on this matter.